In the previous timeline, the world believed the fourth prince was a merciful man who spared Jack's family. But the truth was far more sinister. He used the family as blackmail to turn Elizabeth's life into his puppet. Her life became a living hell, not just as the prince's plaything, but as a victim to his brothers as well. When she was finally used up, she was locked away in a secluded villa to die alone. By the time news reached Jack in his past life, he had already gone full Itaki mode. In a blind rage, he wiped the Tulan Empire off the map, erasing every single person with royal blood from history. Recalling this, Jack shudders. The future was a nightmare he refuses to repeat. Back in the present, Elizabeth is convinced Jack is being framed. She is a sixth circle mage, and she knows if Jack had really used dark magic, she would have felt it. Even the Marquess, a seventh circle mage, shouldn't have missed it. She marches to the Marquess and demands Jack's release. But the Marquess' reaction is chilling. He silences her with a single look, basically admitting that Jack is nothing but a tool to them. His plan? His plan was to use Jack until he's grown, then fake his death and hide his identity forever. Elizabeth is devastated. She realizes that escaping this decreed fate might be impossible, even as she secures Jack's release from the prison. A new day begins in the dungeon. A guard walks up to Jack's cell and rudely barks, "Get out." Jack keeps his cool and asks for his shoes and clothes, but the guard, feeling brave, says, "You've gotten too carried away, kid. Big mistake." Jack's patience snaps, but he stands up and gives the guard a cold glare that screams death. Before the guard can even realize he messed up, Jack's fists connect with his jaw. One blow, total silence. Who knows if that guard even survived, but Jack is officially done playing nice. Jack returns to the rose garden covered in someone else's blood. A worried Ron asks, "Is that your blood?" Jack calmly replies, "Not mine." He notices new faces, 10 soldiers and a knight from the Iron Blood Order. The knight, a fourth circle user, tries to question Jack about breaking a guard's finger and eye. Jack doesn't even blink. He looks at the knight and says, "Your job is to watch me. Do not interfere in my fights. If I'm breaking someone's head, you better beg me to stop." Jack decides the knight needs a nickname. "From now, your nickname is Chickling. When I call you, you come running." Ron is panicking, but Jack just pats him on his shoulder and walks away. Jack's stomach growls. He wants meat. Ron rushes to prepare a feast. As they sit down to eat, Jack drops the biggest bombshell of the series. He looks at his simple servant and says, "You are a ninth circle magician, aren't you, Ron?" Ron is absolutely frozen. "How do you know?" Jack explains that Ron has been there since his mother's time. In the past life, Ron was the one who protected Elizabeth and sacrificed his own life to save Jack's. Ron's eyes well up with tears as the memory flooded back. It turns out Jack's mother was no ordinary woman, and the Marquess has been hiding this secret for years. Jack was always a little afraid of Ron, knowing he was a ninth circle powerhouse. But now they're finally on the same side. Even Ron didn't know about the secret of Jack's mother. While Jack knew the storm was coming, he was content to let the world think he was playing games. To him, the future could wait. Right now, Elizabeth's safety was the only thing that mattered. Ron shook his head, trying to reason with his master. "Master, you worry too much. She's a sixth circle mage at age only 18. She can handle herself." Jack's gaze darkened. "She's too kind, Ron. That's the problem. She's exactly the type of person who would throw her life away to save someone else. I won't let that happen." The atmosphere turned heavy as Jack dropped a bombshell. He was leaving for the academy the very next day, and he wouldn't be back for 4 long years. He looked Ron dead in the eye. "Protect Elizabeth for these 4 years. After that, you're free to live your life however you wish." Ron was stunned. "Why only 4 years, sir?" Jack gave a confident smirk. "Because by then, I'll be powerful enough to protect her myself." Just as Jack was about to reveal the true depth of his plan, a sharp knock echoed through the room. Irritated, Jack barked, "Come in." It was the guard, and he delivered his report. The guard Jack had dealt with earlier was in treatment. To cover up the embarrassment, the guard had spun a ridiculous tale, claiming he accidentally cut his finger in training, then somehow managed to stab his own eye with his sword while Jack ran away in fear. Jack burst out laughing. Wow, what a masterpiece of lie. He turned his gaze into the page, a mischievous glint in his eye. "From now, I'm calling you Dog." The page turned red with fury. My name is James K. Fine, James, Jack shrugged. Go get me a real wooden sword. James coughed, his arrogance flaring up. He wasn't about to take order from a kid. Seeing the look on his face, Jack decided it was time for a lesson. Tell you what, James, I'll give you a shot at a better life. Defeat me. Ron gasped. Sir, he's a fourth circle user. Are you seriously going to fight him? Jack just laughed. Not just fight him, we're making a bet. Ron's mind raced. He knew Jack was special, but this seemed suicidal. Fine, Ron said, let's bet on how many times you get hurt. Jack nodded. If I get hurt even once, you win. The loser has to grant any wish the winner desires. Sir, I am your servant, Ron reminded him. Just tell me what you want. But Jack's expression softened. Ron, you are one of the few people I actually trust. I only place a burden on someone when I'm absolutely sure of them. James returned a moment later, but his bravado had vanished. He knelt before Jack, trembling. I'm sorry for my behavior. Please forget what happened before. Jack saw right through it. You're scared, aren't you? No. James snapped, his pride stung. Then will you defeat me? Jack challenged. James remained silent, his knuckles white. Jack turned to Ron. Find us a secluded spot. It's time to practice. Ron led them to a massive hidden training facility in the manor's basement. Jack was floored. He never knew this place existed. Lady Noah built this for the children, Ron explained. A shadow of a smile touched Jack's face. Everything is clear because of you, Ron. Thank you. But the second he turned to James, his face went cold. The sword. Now. James handed it over, noting, you seem very comfortable holding a weapon. Jack didn't reply, but his inner thoughts were screaming, that's because I killed thousands in my past life. Thanks for the compliment. Jack whispered, and then he exploded. Jack lunged. James moved to block, thinking it would be easy to subdue a novice, but in the blink of an eye, the wooden tip of Jack's sword was resting against James' chin. The room went silent. The speed was inhuman. Ron's jaw nearly hit the floor. He had expected James to brush Jack aside like a fly, but Jack's movements weren't just fast, they were perfect. How old are you, chicken man? Jack asked mockingly. 23. James stammered. He had reached the 4 circles in 5 years, a feat that usually marked him as a prodigy destined to be a commander. Jack tossed the wooden sword aside and picked up a real steel blade. You've got talent, James. It's a shame you've been wasted on me. James was seeing red. You'll get hurt. You think that first round was luck? Jack taunted. Enraged, James charged with everything he had. Jack was really feeling very weird. That's why he'll never be more than a page, he said. The swords met, and in a blur of motion, James' weapon flew from his hand. He stood there, disarmed and stunned. When our blades collided, I simply shifted the angle. Jack explained coolly, and it's an advanced technique. Ron could only stare. Who taught him this? James was refusing to lose to a child, grabbed a real sword for the final round. Jack looked back and Ron, remember our bet? My only wish is for you to protect Elizabeth. Ron nodded, his respect for the boy growing by the second. James stepped forward. This time the outcome will be different. The only difference, Jack laughed, is that now I'm actually trying. Jack leaped into the air, bringing his blade down with the force of a falling mountain. James blocked, but his arm buckled. The sheer power behind the strike sent him crashing to the floor. Jack landed and planted his boot firmly on James' head and said, Victory. James gasped for the air, his mind reeling. Is he really on first circle? How is he so strong then? Jack leaned down, sensing the confusion. I concentrated every drop of my mana into a single point. My power didn't just grow, it multiplied. Then Jack's voice turned low and serious. Do you really want to be a knight, James? What else is there? James choked out. Jack's eyes surged with authority. Become my hound, not a knight who follows rules, but a hound who follows my orders. James hesitated. What do I get in return? Jack smiled, the smile of a king. Power, authority, and a purpose. Let it be.